Welcome into the Joe Dickey Electric Scoreboard. Week 8 of the high school football season in the books. A thriller at Arrowhead Stadium that did not go the home team's way. Boy, that Bulldogs defense and what ended up being a shootout ended up making the biggest play.
Yeah, absolutely. 4th and 1 with about 12 seconds left. Gerard, no timeouts left. So even though they got the first down, clock expired and Poland got the win.
There's going to be a lot of armchair quarterbacks, everybody in there going, why didn't they kick the field goal? Why? But it's a catch-22. I mean, if they kick the field goal, they go to overtime. Okay. What if you miss the field goal?
Right.
They had momentum on their side. Like, I don't blame Gerard for taking their shot.
But here's the thing that if you watch the broadcast, McConaughey, their quarterback, was limping a little bit, so they had a direct snap to Sims. So that limits your play calling ability when your quarterback is injured a little bit. So that might have made me decide to kick. But I never second guess these coaches. They're with these kids a lot more than I am, and they definitely put up more time in the game plan than they did. So they must have had a really good, play down there for that situation. It was a good play. They got a first down, but unfortunately it was a do or die touchdown situation there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And it's one of them things. You roll the dice, you live with it. You know that things could have worked out just a little bit different for him. But if you're Gerard, you're sitting here and you're going, that's a win. I think they really need it. Because now instead of being 5-3,
right,
you're sitting at 4-4. So, that would have been some big playoff points.
They won it bad. But then Poland, the game-winning touchdown actually turned into an 80-yard touchdown run by Natoli. So And hey, look, we have Ty Bartell in the background.
Speaking of good guys who always like to call in,
let's bring Mr. Ty. Whoa, look at that lighting. There we go.
Look at that strobe lighting.
We change it up for you. What's up, everyone?
We had a really good night. You did not.
You did not.
No, we didn't. But you know what? It's off in a lot of respect to that Massillon. Of course, they travel well. Again, it felt like half the city of Massillon came up to Austin Town today. They packed the stands, and they're loud and proud for their Tigers team. And that Tigers team is pretty damn good this year once again.
Just breaking it down, like they jumped on Fitch early. And it seemed like anytime Fitch threw a punch, man, did they counter. That Tiger team, they're pretty fun to watch, too.
They countered with big plays, but also there were times where Fitch, during this matchup, they just really shot themselves in the foot. Some bad snaps. A lot of the snaps were going above the head, too. And when you already have a strong defensive rush that the Tigers do, you can't really cost even milliseconds in that snap transfer and trying to get your offense rolling. So some of those, a couple of plays that went backwards on second down, set up 3rd and long. Again, those are just the type of plays you cannot have as you're trying to roll offensive drives.
I might have a little bit of a connection issue there.
Yeah, that's because he stopped at the drive-thru.
He stopped at it. He needed to get some comfort snacks at the get-go.
Now, the Falcons definitely, Massillon credit their offense. They responded every single time that they had to. But honestly, too, Fitch didn't help themselves. They shot themselves in the foot going backwards on some key second down plays that were second and short and set up 3rd and long. And if you're helping the Tigers defense, you can't really help them out because they're already too good as it is.
For me, Ty, the big turning point in that game comes, it's 21-7. Fitch is inside the 5-yard line of the Tigers, and they turn that ball over. To me, that was the ball game.
It was, and again, it was that missed snap because if you remember, it's 3rd and short. So you have 2 plays to get 1 yard. It's 3rd and very short. But that ball goes back, and now you're set up at a 4th and 2, 4th and 3. Fitch comes just shy of it, turnover on downs, and you're right, Mike. It kind of just feels like life was sucked out because in that point, too, time's running out in that first half. Fitch gets the score. They're down 1 score with the ball coming out in that 3rd quarter. You're looking at maybe a different change of scenery for the game, but credit Massillon. They played the teams that they needed to play up into this point, beat some really good competition, and they were unfazed during those moments of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead, Anthony. I did cut you off. I apologize.
No, it's okay. We're all on the same team here. Ty, you said Fitch shot themselves in the foot, which they definitely did. it seemed like that was a thing that happened to them early in the season that they corrected. So what do you think TJ Parker is going to do now to kind of recreate a bugaboo that has come back to haunt them here late in the season?
I think it first and foremost just goes to canceling all the outside noise. I think there's a lot of outside noise and stuff that doesn't football that's kind of surrounding everything right now, and it's making things a little bit difficult inside. But I think it just comes down to, let's cancel out the outside noise, let's get back to football, and let's worry about us, what we're doing on the gridiron right now. Let's not give any attention or pay any attention to what's all happening around us. Control the controllables, right? And I think Coach Parker, one of the best at doing that. He wants to make it about the kids, for the kids, and I think that's what he's going to look to getting back to the basics and doing for these next two very important rivalry games for Fitch on the docket.
I was just going to say that, Fitch. Boardman, Harding, they're up next two. They've got to get 2 W's and probably a little bit of help now to even host a game in the first round.
If you want a playoff chance, yeah, it feels like these are must-win games now on the docket. And you felt like it was going to be a situation where that could happen, knowing that you were going to have Ursuline and Massillon sandwiching a bye week. So looking at that, you lose to Ursuline, you lose to Washington. Now the pressure's on. You want to get back to the playoffs. Coach Parker wants to get back to the playoffs. He's never missed as the head coach of the Falcons. They're going to need 2 key wins here. And for Fitch to try to keep up what they're trying to build there, you feel like this is important for the program as a whole.
Yeah, I think the key for Fitch is, they'll probably make the playoffs, right? But they want to host a playoff game. They don't want to have to travel in that Division II playoff round. So, if they can get in that top 8, I think they're going to be in a much better position to make a couple of wins in the playoffs than they would be if they had to travel from the get-go.
Well, and
No
the
doubt.
one key fact that's coming down is their Week 10 matchup actually could be for a home field game. Harding with a win tonight, they're going to get some points. So all of a
always
sudden,
comes down to those two.
that Week 10.
I always feel like, and I feel like home field's been on the line quite a few years with those two.
If history repeats itself, they'll actually be the matchup in the playoffs.
Yeah, they'll be the 8-9 matchup.
It'll be back-to-back games, Fitch and Harding.
I tell you what, though, guys, you talk about Division II across regions, though. I said it on socials today, and I've been kind of saying it all season, especially since like Week 5. And it just really feels like, and of course you play the playoffs for a reason, but it feels like we're gearing up for Hoban Knights and Massillon Washington Tigers rematch in the playoffs somewhere down the line. And I really feel, and I could be biased for this quadrant of the state, but I really feel the winner of that matchup's getting some state title gold this year.
They definitely are the favorites coming back. I talked about it with Mike, and during the audible call, Archbishop Hoban is a very hungry team because they got there last year. They got to that game. They were close, made a couple of mistakes, couple of second half turnovers, and they feel like they should have won the state championship. So when you have that taste in your mouth, you want to get it back. You're hungry. They're never going to get back to that game. And Hoban's playing like it.
Well, I'm sure, anybody's going to want to watch that film from Hoban and Glenville tonight because the Tarblooders gave them a great game. It was 28-16 was the final there. That is the most points Hoban has given up this season.
And if you're Coach Terrell, and if you're Coach Ginn for the Tarblooders too, that's exactly what you want at this point of the season. I don't even care what side of the ball you're on, winning or losing side of that. You want that kind of competition because both of them are looking at it saying, yes, we finally found some weaknesses we could shore up before the playoffs. Now we can be even stronger going forward. So, I look out for both of those teams come tournament time.
Absolutely, man. Hey, we appreciate it. Be careful. I know you're probably getting ready to pull through one of your favorite drive-thrus and then head home and eat some of that pre-Halloween candy that you like. But hey, we'll talk to you next week.
I already got the pot of candy at home, so we're good. We're good on that one. But yeah, we'll be talking with you, Mike. Talk with you, Anthony.
All right. Thanks, Ty. Always, man.
Always fun.
Appreciate the call. Win or lose, just a straight. He doesn't pull any punches.
No.
And he told it just, Fitch had just way too many self-inflicted mistakes. And the nice thing about that, if you're TJ Parker, you can look your team squarely in the eyes and say, we can fix this still. Yeah. We can get this corrected.
I think on paper, I still think, watching it, I think Massillon was the better team. and I think they probably would have found a way to win that game, but would have been a heck of a lot closer without the unforced errors that Fitch made.
Well, there's a reason why they're number one in their region.
Right.
I mean, they're perfect. They're 8-0 on the season, and you don't get there by not being a good football team. So you got to like that. I know some of the other guys will be calling in here shortly. We had some great games around the Valley tonight. And, of course, it is time. Our Burnett's Pools, Spas, and Hot Tub got that fancy scoreboard for us.
Going to share the screen now and bring it up full screen for you. So not only can you see the scoreboard, but you can see the wonderful presenting sponsor of the YSN scoreboard, Mike.
Yeah, see right
Burnett Pools, Spas, and Hot Tubs. We know that the summer is fading away fast, but next year.
DJ won't be mad that I circled it in here in a Sharpie on the monitor, right?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No.
Just kidding, DJ.
That's the secondary monitor. We're all good.
Could you imagine if he walked in? I was playing John Madden. I just circled it.
And then boom.
Yeah. Boom. There you go.
So let's go in the scoreboard. We'll do the last row first and then scroll over to the end. So here we'll go back to the top.
We'll run them down pretty quick. That way we can get to them one more time. Struthers all over. Canfield above 500. They are now 4-3 on the season, I believe. For the Cardinals, nice win against Holy Name. And then as we move along, it is Geneva all over Lakeside, 49-6. Springfield, nice all over Villa Angela St. Joe's. That was actually a pretty good ball game for a half. 38-18 the final. Shootout of the night, West Branch and Alliance. Siggy had a great game, 90 points in that one. But
battle of the quarterbacks. Yeah. We knew it was going to happen. We knew Alliance, what they brought to the table, an Oklahoma commit under center. Yeah. You're not going to be able to hold that down. But West Branch's offense, still, no one's been able to crack that puzzle.
No, the defense will give up some points, but right now they're like, we can outscore you, so we're okay. Liberty, they get a win over LeBray, 35-15, and Beaver Local goes on the road. No problem with Indian Creek tonight. Okay. And they needed that win.
So you look at LeBray, and this is a team that always is just making me scratch my head because last week they looked so good. Yeah, 43-33 win over Brookfield, a comeback win, and then they don't bring that same mojo into Liberty. We know Liberty can score in a hurry, and it gets away from them against the Leopards. This is a much needed win for Liberty against LeBray, but it's just one of those losses, and LeBray's had a couple of them this year that you just go, it's just a different team.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a different football team. All right, so now we'll head back up.
Beaver Local, Indian Creek. We can't forget about them. You did.
I did.
My mind was on Liberty LeBray.
Nice road win for the Beavers tonight.
They needed a win. They had back-to-back losses over any 8 opponents in the last 2 weeks.
All right, Brookfield. They were all over Camel. That was 35-0 early. Ends up being 48-8. Crestview, solid win at home, 37-10 over Champion. East Palestine put up 20, but it wasn't enough. Their defense could not stop the Clippers as they get them 43-20. Conneaut, this was also a pretty good game. They get Edgewood by 3. And then Garrettsville, Garfield, Newton Falls, hey, they slugged it with them for a little while.
They were up 14-7. We were sitting here like, what is happening?
Yeah.
And then Garfield decided to wake up a little.
They scored the final 35 to put that one to bed. And then as we showed, talked with Ty, Archbishop Hoban, a winner, 28-16 over Glenville. Cheney, no problem with Hallen. They actually spotted Hallen a 7-0 lead. They come back to beat them 46-15. Lakeview doubles up Hubbard tonight. Lowville just keeps rolling along 35-14. On that horizon is the Rockets and the Tigers.
It's coming quick. 2 more weeks.
And then Lisbon, all over Latonia. They're taking the Spaghetti Bowl back to Lisbon tonight as they win that one 50-23.
I want to give a shout out to Latonia though in this game. They played their butts off, and we've said this before on the show. Latonia is a different team this year. They're more disciplined. They're buying into the program, and there were spots in that game where they were giving Lisbon problems.
What I like about Latonia, there's no quit.
Right.
Even though they were down and an uphill climb, they never quit in that ball game. Kudos to what's going on at Latonia. It's not paying off yet, but it's going to.
Give them
the
a
way
couple
these
years.
Kids work. So Madison all over Jefferson tonight, 44-7. As we talked with Ty, all Massillon, Washington over Fitch, 42-7. The game of the night, definitely Gerard Poland. Gerard goes for it on 4th and 1, I believe.
Yep, with 12 seconds left.
12 seconds left. Could not get it. The Bulldogs hold on to win that one. That was just a great game. Carrollton over Salem, 21-7. Wellsville United. The lights didn't go on. Not all of them at the football stadium. They're going to play that one Saturday morning at 11 a.m. And you can see it right here on YSN.
I feel like that's the second time this year down in Willsville they've had some late light issues. Didn't we have a long delay?
Yeah, there was a delay the one night. So, but they will play that one 11 a.m. tomorrow. McDonald all over Wyndham tonight, 40-6. Cardinal Mooney loses an absolute heartbreaker. They give up a late touchdown to Warren Harding and fall 24-21. Grand Valley gets smacked in the mouth by Cardinal, 42-6. Western Reserve all roll along as they beat Buckeye 7-13 over Orange. And we can give you the final on this one. It was South Range 49-14 over Niles. And that is their 29th straight.
And Niles cannot make it a full circle moment. They were the last team that beat South Range, and it's not going to happen this year. I feel like if you were going to get this Raiders team, you were going to get them early in the season because every week they just look more and more like the Raiders of last year. They're getting more and more dominant, more and more clean, more and more execution. And that's not a good sign for the teams that are going to have to square up in front of them.
Well, and not only that, you look at what's left on their schedule. They got Louisville, 1 win.
Yep.
And then they go to Hubbard, who's sitting at 4-4 right now. So if you're South Range, it's looking like you're making it through the NE8. And I guess if you want to say any road to the championship in that conference, it's definitely going through South Range.
Yep, they still haven't clinched it yet because Poland won tonight. If Poland would have lost, Raiders would have had it tonight. It would have been the NE8 championship. But Poland holds on, so Poland is in a hope that they can
still alive.
Mathematically still there. They're hoping South Range drops it to Hubbard, and then they can clean out the rest of their season, and that's Poland's hope. They're hanging there by the claws of their paw.
And it all comes down to that Hubbard game because I believe the Louisville game is a non-conference game. So it comes down to the final week 10 matchup. Pie Valley all over Matthews tonight as they pitch a shutout, and Boardman falls to Dover 48-21. So that wraps the scores up. And we look at some things tonight, and you're just like, wow, this is crazy. Just the way some of these games broke down, and you look at things, and the guys out there, phenomenal calls on the games tonight, and it's just week 8. Hard to believe it.
Yeah, I thought we'd have more close games than we did. This is probably one of our more heavy blowout weeks of the season so far.
Yeah.
And a lot of games that either should have been close or we thought were going to be close ended up being really, really topsy-turvy.
I actually got one score we got to mention. It wasn't on our Burnett Pools and Spas scoreboard, but it was Mohawk. They made their debut tonight on YSN for football. And the Warriors, if you're from Western Pennsylvania, Beaver Falls is perennially a pretty good football program each year. Mohawk beats them at home tonight, 21-12. And how about this, the way they ice it? Dante Retort, a 95-yard touchdown in the fourth quarter to ice the game for him. So got to like that. Jake Verona, 2 touchdown passes, and he also rushed for a touchdown.
Oh, we have one of our favorites in the green room, Mike.
I knew he'd be here.
It's Mr. 440 in goal, Sam Torres himself.
What is going on, fellas?
Sammy, if somebody ever took a sledgehammer, they're still not knocking that big smile off their face.
I'll tell you what, I had to dig deep for it today. It was a tough game for the Dragons today. I'll tell you, but in all fairness, I got to really take the hats off to Geneva. That is a very, very good football team. Lakeside goes out there in the first quarter doing their best to try and keep that offense from really running away from the game, both literally and figuratively, and they just could not do it. Three back-to-back runs for touchdowns over 60 yards is going to put a lot of teams out of it, and I think that's what happened early. Geneva knew what they had to do, and Lakeside's had a tough go of it so far.
Sam, we pulled up your game early in the audible call. I think it might have been Lakeside's first drive. Seemed like, especially early, the run game, at least for the Dragons, was actually working pretty well, and they had that pretty sustained drive on their first drive of the game. Little things like that. What can Lakeside take away from this game against Geneva?
Yeah, I mean, if you look, especially in those first couple drives, really, they had things working for them. The run game was doing well, but the short passing game was really, really working well for them. I think really the turning point on there for them early in the game, and it's one of those things that's so little, I don't think people really realize how much it's going to affect it, is, Lakeside is getting ready to go for it on a 4th and 1, down by 14, and then they jump a false start. So it turns that 4th and 1 to a 4th and 6. They end up punting. The very next play, Geneva gets out there and scores and opens the doors. So I think Lakeside is a lot better than their record is going to show. It's really a question of, can they tighten up some of these things? They've got a matchup against Conneaut next week. And Conneaut, you want to talk about a team that really pulled one out this week. Grabbing that 3-point victory over Edgewood. It was a phenomenal game. Shout out to the WOW guys for calling it and doing such a good job. Edgewood went into that game 14-point favorites, and Conneaut gets it done. And I think Conneaut's in the driver's seat next week too.
We love the WOW guys, just so we can say wow a lot on the audible call.
Yeah.
No, we enjoyed
it. Yeah, it was really.
I'll tell you what, you've
really
got
fun.
Some pretty good football. You got some good games that are being played up there. Who's some of the teams? These next 2 weeks are important for them for a postseason berth.
Yeah, I think Conneaut set themselves up really nicely tonight. 5-2. They're going to go up against Lakeside next week. If they beat Lakeside, I think that pretty much locks them in. They're going to have a really tough end of the year game. They're supposed to have a really tough end of the year game because I think they go against Geneva or Lakeside anyway. I'll have to go back and look, but I think Pymatuning Valley got right back on the horse and they're back to their winning ways. Look for them to make a playoff run. I think Edgewood really has to go back and look at what's going on because they are at risk. They are at big risk to not make the playoffs right now. They've got some tough ones against it. Even though they're going to be playing, Jefferson next week, which should be a game that they should win. They're going to end their year with Lakeside and rivalry games. Lakeside, if they're not going to make the playoffs, they would love nothing more than to keep Edgewood out of the playoffs. And anytime you have something like that going on, it is huge.
Well, it is, and you look at that. That's 2 big rivalry games basically for them back to back, and no better way. Coach is going to have them prepared because you've lost 3 straight.
Yeah, especially when you lost. Your last 2 combined losses are by 6 points. 3 points is the separator in 2 games back to back. It's heartbreaking, and it's one of those where you got to really rally the troops. And I'll tell you what. Conneaut is one of those teams that I think people are going to have to start watching. But the only thing I can say, the only thing that Conneaut's going against them is they've got this big bad team in Garrettsville that's in the same division and in the same region as them, and that's the buzzsaw they ran into last year. So I think they're already hoping for a better seed.
Yeah. That region is Garrettsville, South Range, and Perry, all in that region.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, it is.
Perry jumped to number 1 unofficially tonight. It's not.
Yeah, I don't know which one is harder. If it's that Division 5 region or the dogfight that is Division 3.
Right, and then you got Division 2 up there too. I mean, I'll say it: Northeast Ohio, best football in the state.
Yeah,
listen. It was.
I mean, just.
It was born here.
I mean, there's no answer.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
born here.
I'll
The
give
Hall
a
of
second.
Fame's here for a reason.
It's his favorite trip of the year. I know he's looking forward to it.
Oh yeah, I love it. I mean, I'm like, it's close enough to Christmas that it's pretty much my Christmas.
Right, there it goes.
Hey, we go there this year. You can maybe we can get you on the Ferris wheel.
There we go.
Sam Torres live from the Ferris wheel. Give us a live report from up there on the top of the wheel.
The end zone view.
Yeah, we'll see if I can keep my smile then.
It won't be that cold.
I thought you meant the heights. The heights giving the
Oh,
willies.
it's the heights. Okay. Hey, man, we appreciate you checking in with us tonight.
Absolutely, guys. I'll see you guys next week.
All right, you got it. Thanks, Sammy. Have a great week.
In the comments, we have an update from the score that we were looking for. Sebring gets the win tonight, 44-24. Thank you to Mike Maurer for pointing that out to us. And Sebring gets the win.
That's an 8-man football league, right?
Yep.
So good win for the Trojans. We'll take that. Just looking at some of these things, the way they're breaking down over these next 2 weeks.
Mike Swinehart
It is
reminding us
getting
that Conneaut versus Madison in week 10.
Wow.
That's the big game Sam was trying to remember.
There we go. Wow, week 10. Weren't we just on week 1 a couple of weeks ago? Feels like
Mike.
It's weird for me. Like, I always used to remember all the years at FMJ, week 10 was like that Halloween week. So you were always pumped. Like, you'd go to the stadium, all the kids were dressed up. The band, you knew you were going to see Thriller or some type of, Monster Mash, something like that. And now it's like you hit that week. If you think about it, it's week 1 of the playoff. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, they moved.
Yeah, absolutely. But can't beat it. So here's what we're going to do. We've ran down the scores. We've had a couple calls. I'm sure we'll have a couple more guys calling in. We will come back. We're going to take our break. We'll be back on the Joe Dickey Electric Scoreboard right after this quick timeout. Now you can see every school, to the smallest school, to the intermediate schools, to the schools in the outlying areas. It gives you coverage that you could just never get to before. It's something that's great to experience, and it's opened up a whole new wave of sports viewership. The possibilities are endless here at YSN. Push the envelope every day. Try something new. If it works, great. If it doesn't, well, let's try another angle, and we just keep moving forward. My name is Mike Ackelson, and my sports network is your sports network.
What can you do on over 5,000 acres? At Mill Creek Metro Parks, you can discover unique habitats and wildlife, create memorable family moments, experience history, heritage, and park programs, explore scenic landscapes, take time to relax and be well, connect with nature and each other. Come see what's new at Mill Creek Metro Parks. Plan your trip now at millcreekmetroparks.org.
Going the extra mile at Greenwood Chevrolet means taking care of our local customers.
And it's just a great feeling to put them in a vehicle and get them all excited about a new vehicle.
At the end of the day, our goal is to be someone our customers can count on.
And every day I'll go the extra mile for the community so they can trust us.
To do anything that would convenience the customer or make them feel more at home.
Realizing, number one, that we're here for them and that we're not going to go away.
That's what going the extra mile means, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Welcome back to the Joe Dickey Electric Scoreboard. And hey, we do want to give a shout out to Cheney quarterback Drew Galtz. He had a pretty good night, 4 touchdown passes.
I think that's a nice night at the office. That'll get you a Big Mac and McDonald's for a nice post-game meal.
Yeah, might get you a big dog nomination too.
Oh, I like that.
You like that?
Big dogs of the valley. That's a good reminder.
Yeah.
If you're wanting to vote, voting is unlimited. It ends on Sunday at midnight, so make sure to get out there, vote for these nominees from the last week one more time over the weekend.
Yeah. So I look at the games tonight, and obviously the one that stands out is that Poland Gerard shootout. Back and forth, gutsy call, didn't work. But what if they try it the next time? It may work, because you can learn something from failure. Anybody can. But for Poland, that's a big win.
It is. We talked about it. Like, they're still technically alive in the 88. They're mathematically alive. It's a big win for Poland. It's a big win for South Range. And I think the win over Poland, every win that Poland makes is more points for the Raiders in the polls.
Well, they're 7-1 now. Unofficially, that does clinch a playoff spot for them. So
we got TJ Oakley coming in.
All right. He come back. He was giving us a Heisman pose earlier.
And Mike Schweinhart is telling us, and he's something that you Western PA guys, and I really like that they're on a collision course with Mohawk and the Shannock.
The Warriors and the Lancers. That's a rivalry game. That is a big, big rivalry game. So got to like that one coming up. DJ.
I'm here.
You're here.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
We thought if there was a chance that Full Circle started in 2019 when Niles got them in overtime.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody made the Raiders mad because they brought out a can of whoop.
Yeah, and you know what? They did, and then they let their foot off. And I think they'll tell you once everything calms down, because they were a little amped up after the game, they'll tell you that they let their foot off the gas a little bit. And Niles took advantage. Credit Niles. I mean, they're a good team. Antoine Gardner with a 69-yard run, touchdown, got another touchdown around the edge. That is a good back. Listen, this is the same Raider defense, right? Different era, same coaching staff that stopped TC Caffey. TC Caffey ran for 96 yards against Toledo for Ohio State and ran for 46 yards for Hubbard years ago against South Range.
Oh, yeah.
You remember that?
I do.
Yep.
So here's my conundrum. Defense and running game, right? Travels. But nobody, and I mean nobody, can run against South Range. So Michael, Anthony, I ask you the question. If you can't run on South Range, how do you beat them for the next 8 weeks?
Your only hope is that you can force mistakes.
Yep, turnovers.
Because you can go back when they've had some of them great run defensive teams. Now, granted, they were running into a pretty good team, Kirtland.
Yeah.
And what would Kirtland do? They got them out of their game.
And Kirtland ran the ball.
And
Kirtland could also throw the ball to run the ball.
Their little dinks set up their running game.
Yeah.
But I'll never forget, it was 2 years ago. You and I were up at Bo Ryan in the playoffs. Yep. And it was on one of the first or second play of the game. South Range had a beautiful call. The kid from Kirtland read the play, stepped in, picked it, and went.
Yep.
And I remember us looking at each other like, because we thought that was the year they were getting them.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, Kirtland put teams on their heels. South Range, since that loss in week 2, has put every team on their heels.
So let me ask you guys this as well, okay? You've got a team in South Range that's D5. They play Green. They lose to Green earlier in the season. That's their only loss in the last, 30 games-ish?
Yeah.
Ish, right?
Yeah, minus playoffs, yeah.
No, add playoffs.
Add playoffs, yeah.
Because they went 16-0 last year.
16-0, yeah. Oh, geez. You forget how deep those playoffs go.
So you look at this team, right? And I'm not crowning them, and they wouldn't crown themselves at this point. But you look at this. They're going to be home, essentially. If you look at this, the next 4 weeks, you got Louisville at home. You got Hubbard at home. You got your first home game in the playoffs, which you're probably going to play the, 14, 15 seed, right?
Right now,
Perry will get
unofficially right now, they'd get the 15th seed.
Right? So because Perry's number 1.
So let's play some fun here. Right now, it'll be Chagrin Falls.
Good night.
Yeah. They're falling.
And there's teams around here that have felt that before, right?
Yeah.
Last year was Liberty.
Liberty.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's one of those situations that you get there and you see who you're playing and you're just like,
let's have fun, boys.
well,
yeah.
Maybe we can get another senior night in there, on the road or something. I mean, it's in Rawmaker Stadium is a tough place to play.
Yeah.
There's a lot of there is Green, I believe, is the only team that has won there. I'll have to do some research. That might be the only team that's won there since it's open.
Because Niles beat him in Niles.
Yep.
If you go back further, you're going to hit to when they were still playing at Memorial Stadium.
Yeah. So that might be the only regular season loss in that stadium to this date. And you play the Raiders the next 4 weeks. And then listen, I love Hubbard. They got their hands full. Louisville next week, they have their hands full. The gloves can be off now. They're not allowed to say anything anymore. So we can just say, hey, good luck.
Well, and here's the other thing. Unofficially, they're second now. Perry passed them tonight.
Okay.
So if you're South Range, you want every point possible, make it your easiest route there.
Louisville should help next week, right?
Yeah, it should. But again, only a 1-win team.
Hubbard should help.
Hubbard should help, but they got upset tonight up at Lakeview. So they lose tonight. The team that's given them points is Poland, because Poland has won every game except the South Range game.
It's pretty a win-win. I mean, if Struthers wins, then hey, you get the wins for the Struthers, and if Poland wins, then you get points for Poland.
But,
you beat both of them.
The one thing, and I hope he doesn't mind me saying this, but the coolest thing about having relationships with some of these coaches is like I have a wonderful relationship with Dan Yeagley. He steps down, and now I've got this great relationship with David Rock, and we talked for probably an hour and 15 the other night. And we talked about life, but we talked about football. He wants to play. And the thing about South Range, and the thing about every team that we have to remember, and this is companies, this is teams, this is families. Dave Rock will not shy away from anybody. That coaching staff will not shy away from anybody. And guys, this was the year that South Range was supposed to be rebuilding.
Well,
Tristan Toy goes off tonight. If he's not on Big Dogs next week, we're shutting the program down. I mean, I looked at him tonight and I said, hey, you ready for Big Dogs next week? I said, you better get some votes, because after that performance, he deserves every one of them. Right? It was incredible.
Yeah. Well, and what I love about it is they're humble and hungry.
Yeah.
Like, they know what last year's class did. They know that they were part of it. But boy, they want to leave their own legacy.
They want their own.
They want their own. Like, this is not like, and I know we keep saying, wow, that Perry team's pretty good. Well, he's still got to me, until the champ is dead.
To be the man?
You got to beat the man.
Woo!
Yeah. So it's all there. And I'm looking forward to the playoffs. Like, I know I got 2 weeks, but I am so looking forward to
Michael,
the playoffs.
nobody is looking more forward to the playoffs than yours truly. I cannot wait. I like, and the reason is because that's when every play counts, every moment counts. Ever having playoffs, man, they go slow. They really do.
I said this to Anthony, and I want your answer. It feels literally like 2 weeks ago we were here for the first time. It was week 1. All of a sudden, I blink, and we're at week 8.
I think the weather helped. And I was running this by a couple people today. I think the weather has helped it a lot, because every week feels the same. Right. You know what I mean? We haven't had really any inclement weather yet.
We were supposed to tonight, and then it came a night early.
You're going to laugh. I literally, when I saw the forecast and I thought there was a chance for rain, and this is my sick, twisted mind of a football guy. I want 2 teams on a grass field. I want mud. I want them to be dirty. I don't, you'll hate this, DJ. I don't want you to be able to see the numbers, that they're that dirty.
I can't see the numbers anyway, so it doesn't matter.
But that week, because it becomes a team that can be 8-0 all of a sudden can be 7-1 because the element plays a part of that game.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of glad it missed us, in a way, because he's like, well, we had some soccer games, blah, blah, blah. And I says, it doesn't matter. I'm at home last night. I'm making my neighbors mad. I'm outside at 7:30 I have a big spotlight tied to my leaf blower, and I'm working in my yard because I got my whole weekend's already planned.
Yeah.
And my one neighbor comes over, he goes, come on, man, it's 7:30. It's dark. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be out here for about an hour, bud, unless you want to help. And he looked at me, he's like, there's no way you're blowing this yard tonight. And I go, oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's got to get done. I says, this is round 2 already of my worst time of the year.
Yep.
From a personal standpoint.
Yeah.
I hate leaf season.
Oh, yeah.
I love postseason, but I hate leaf season.
So obviously it wasn't raining hard where you were at.
It never rained until I got done. I went in, took a shower, and I'm like, I got to take the dogs for a walk now. Come out, get the umbrella ready. It didn't even look like I touched my yard.
You know how you get ahead of that? You download the Storm Tracker 21
app. There you
go. Thanks to our friends over at Channel 21 WFM.
See, you picked up on that. That's where I was trying to get you. See, Jack Gerdick, I'm always out here repping you.
Excuse me. That crew, like Eric Wilhelm, unbelievable. Like that guy, pinpoint accuracy when it comes to you're talking like Peyton Manning type accuracy when it comes to predicting and knowing the weather. That guy, I watch that guy constantly. My wife and I, Andrew DiPaolo guys, a big Andrew DiPaolo fans. And then, what else they got going? They got Jimmy Ham in the morning. And then they got one more. Who am I missing?
You're putting me on a spot here.
I'm gonna have to pull up the app, but they had Emily Frazzini, who I thought was phenomenal.
I love Emily. Emily is a great guy.
She moved on, so I was sad. Storm Tracker 21. There's one more, and I feel awful for not knowing this, but
see, you're gonna get some.
Oh, Chris Cernelli.
He's gonna hammer you.
I know,
but I'm just as bad. I'm sitting over here, blah.
I'm gonna get, but to me, he's more of an anchor now because he does, and he's like an Emmy Award winning dude.
So. Well, here's the thing. He's a dual threat. If they ever need a backup to a backup, Matt Stone steps in, and Matt Stone is ice when he does weather, man.
He's your Doug Flutie.
Yes, he is
the punter. If you need it,
he is. He's like the. Hey, we're coming out to play weather today. All right, you're deactivated. Hold the clipboard. Hey, Matt, a couple guys are on, a couple guys are sick, and Matt's there, man. Like, he's great.
I love it.
They
can stay out of sports. Let us do the sports. Let us take care of it for them. They can take care of the weather and the news, all that stuff we don't want to do, and we appreciate what they do.
I'll take 8 more weeks of cold. Oh, gosh. Few snow flurries here and there. Maybe a car ride with you to New Philly and back.
Come on, baby. Come on.
That was a great ride last year.
Terrifying.
That was in a blizzard.
Oh, yeah. That was bad. And we didn't have the truck yet. We were in the were we in my wife's car?
Yes.
Okay.
Because both of us at one point were like, oh boy.
Bad news.
He was a great driver, sir.
No, I wasn't. He was lying through his teeth. We almost died like 4 times, I'm pretty sure. There was one point we didn't even see road anymore.
Yeah.
And I remember hammering the brake trying to get you didn't even budge, Mike. It was like you were in a NASCAR.
It was great. Anthony, in all honesty, he puts his hand over, he goes, are you okay? I'm like, I'm cool, man. Keep going.
He was cool, man. His heartbeat didn't even start going.
But I'm looking forward to it.
I am too. Were there any huge upsets tonight? I know you said
Lakeview Hubbard was a.
See, I don't think that's
not this the way the Lakeview had been playing, but we knew they were capable of it with the way. But the last 3 weeks, Lakeview had looked like a different team.
Yeah,
maybe they got some people back. I don't know.
East Palestine, Columbiana. What happened there?
Columbiana stayed with them for a little bit, but East Palestine stayed with them.
43-20 was the final in that one. Beaver Local, nice road win.
Yeah,
they needed that bad. West Branch in a shootout. If you want to go see a quarterback that's legit,
is that
yeah, Yeah, he is legit.
The kid
And-
from the Lions?
Yes.
Yeah, he's going to Oklahoma.
What about well,
And
we talked on the group
the
chat.
kid from West Branch, he's pretty good too.
He's
by
pretty
the way.
Bo Wallace sauce, man.
Bo Wallace sauce, Bo winning sauce. Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah, he's
Got the sauce.
pretty good.
he's pretty doggone good, man.
And then I'll give you one. They made their debut in football tonight on YSN. Mohawk beat Beaver Falls.
That's huge.
That's a big win. And as Mike put on there, they got a collision course game coming with arch rivals Neshannock.
And you know who's got it?
We do
We do.
right here.
Yeah,
YSN,
we're the lone wolf in that den. And I know what, like we've had our ups and downs with Mohawk trying to get back in after some of the adversity they faced. They are appreciative of what we do. And listen, to be in the Keystone State, Mike, I know there's nobody in this building, nobody in this state probably that's as happy as you because you know what's coming next.
Oh yeah, I do. And I'll tell you what, they're gonna love it. They're gonna love what they get from us, and we'll give them everything. If they need something, they just gotta holler.
So I was getting phone calls all night with what the Fitch at Maslin game end up?
42-7.
Yeah.
42-7. Okay, so I'm gonna. This is from the owner's box here. Okay, we have a partnership with Falcon Media through Austin Town Fitch, and I'm not passing the buck or anything. I'm just telling you kind of what we're facing. Some of the angles or whatever they were doing was a little bit funky. It has been a little bit funky this year. These are our high school kids that are learning the trade, and the thing is we're going to give them feedback because we're getting just executed for it. I mean, I got so many Maslin Canton calls tonight. People saying they want their money back. I don't know where they put their money. I don't know if they
So this is free.
I mean, one lady told it was. I mean, there's one thing. It was a $2.99 one. Somebody said they spent $50 on the game, and I'm like, I don't know where you put your money. Like you probably want to get that back.
Here, I'll help them right now. Regular season games are free on YSN.
And it was
Free.
and I will give credit where credit's due. Maslin, Washington, they called me earlier this week. They set up a direct link to the website, all that stuff. They've been great, and it's something for the fans. And I'm it's not that I can't take criticism or we can't take criticism. It's the fact that I'm getting called. I don't know how my number got out there that I'm getting calls at Bo Ryan Stadium all throughout the game from Canton and Maslin and all over from California as well. And I'm trying to figure out, hi, how did you get my number?
It sounds like someone passed the buck to you.
Yeah.
It's like, call this guy.
Yeah. Well, if you know, if you, I'm not going to put my number out there. Apparently you can find it if you really want to. But like, it's not
Somebody Googled it.
It's not a 330 number.
Oh.
So I have a 724 number, which is because I went to Westminster. So they're finding this or being given my number.
Somebody.
And it's a little bit crazy. It's a little bit wonky.
Right here's the guy that probably did it.
Dom popped in. He did it.
Dom, stop giving out my number.
What? What do you mean?
Welcome in, partner.
Oh man.
Why are you giving out DJ's number?
Because it's funny. No.
Because it's
How
We're
you guys
good.
doing
How are you,
tonight?
man? You had a great game tonight.
Oh my
We're
god.
good.
Can I talk about that?
Please.
Please.
Oh.
Hopefully you do. This is the scoreboard.
That's why I was asking you called in.
Yeah, that's the point of this, isn't it? So I've never seen a penalty. Well, no, it's not a penalty. I've never seen a team lose the same amount of yards that they gained on the next play. Harding gets the ball down to the opposing 8, and they have a high snap that goes over their head that takes them back to the 23. They then move from the 20. I don't know how they jumped on that football, by the way. They jumped on it. They were down that one score. They jumped on the football, somehow got it. I thought Mooney got it for sure, but it was Harding ball. And then they're on the 23, and then they somehow gained the amount of yards that they lost back off of a screen pass down to the 8-yard line again. And then a defensive holding and an offsides later from Mooney gets them close to the 2-yard line. and Harding scores and gets the 2-point conversion to make it 24-21. That was one of the craziest blow-ups I've seen from a defensive standpoint, in my opinion.
We were watching it here, Dom. We were listening to you, and we were sitting there, and that play was crazy. No ands, ifs, or buts about it. And at first, I always love players, and I know you can agree with this because you had a bird's eye view to it. Both players from both teams, when that ball's loose, start pointing, we got it. Every player does that, even to the pros. They come out, that arm is sticking way out there. We got it. And I know Mooney would have just gone ballistic had they really thought, I don't understand. Like, you knew what you had was down the field because the only thing it did was prevent them from winning.
Right. It was a great
and
game.
Think a prevent would work against a screen, though.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. It was just all the credit given to Chaz Coleman. I mean, he had a little an ankle injury earlier in the third quarter. It didn't seem to bother him too much, but he did come away hobbling after one play. He still came through and ran a touchdown in and quarterbacked his team to victory. It's Harding Mooney is quite the rivalry nowadays. I mean, it's pretty wild, and I'm happy I got to call that game because that was a lot of fun on both ends. It started with a missed extra point, and it ended with a made 2-point conversion. I mean, that's unbelievable from Harding's standpoint. And then, of course, Mooney did a fantastic job either way. They played hard all throughout the game. That last possession where Ashton O'Brien tried to heave it down the field a couple times, it was just so difficult, and they couldn't come away with it when it mattered most.
Yeah, it's a tough loss for them because they absolutely played their hearts out in the computer rankings for them too. But hey, they got 2 weeks left. They just know what they got to do now is take care of some business.
Right. Of course.
Dom, we were able to catch a couple of the plays Ashton O'Brien made. And my word, I mean, I know they lost, but oh my word, is this kid a good quarterback for Cardinal Mooney, especially when he's allowed to improvise. We had a couple of plays where he just bounced, contain, and you think he's sacked, and all of a sudden he's coming out the other end with the ball. What was it like for you to be able to witness the things that he's able to do on the field?
Well, it's like there's not a play that's dead for him. He never thinks that a play is over. He will never decide to throw it out of bounds. Like, it was like, oh, this play is broken, I got to throw this out of bounds. He survives to the end of every single play, and I don't think I've seen a quarterback do it much like him. He will keep the ball. It's almost like you think that he's making a poor decision from keeping it this long because you think he's going to get a sack. But even if it's like a throwaway, he'll end up like 20 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and he'll still either A, be able to throw it to a player, or B, able to safely throw it away without losing yards. And I think, Ashton O'Brien and Carlos Gomez, by the way, he was pivotal in that game. And their tight end, John Brenner, I mean, they combined for some great plays across the board. It's just the defense couldn't really keep them in the game for too much longer. They did jump up to a 21-9 lead, but obviously that lead was that lead got shrunk.
Ashton O'Brien, it's got to be his last name, right, Mike? I mean, that's got to be it.
Absolutely. That's why Dom likes seeing
I know, right?
Yeah. That's definitely.
Hey, man, we appreciate the call. You got a call tomorrow, don't you?
Yeah, you got another game, right?
You got another game preview.
No, I do not. I'm not doing that game.
Tomorrow.
I will not be in town for that. But I will be watching from home.
Warren JFK's playing, but Dom O'Brien won't be in town.
Oh, Dom. No, I'm just
Yeah.
kidding. I know you're going.
No, I have
stuff.
some
your
school
team,
responsibilities to tend to.
Doesn't it suck being an adult?
Man, come on.
Yeah,
sucks?
I mean that's overrated, man. What the heck? What's going on with that?
It's overrated. Who needs an education anyway, man?
Yeah, exactly.
Just a piece of paper.
Come on. Don, we appreciate you calling in, buddy. Have fun, and we'll see you again next week.
All right, thank you guys. Have a great night. Thank you again.
Thanks, you too. Thanks for calling in, man.
What a fun scoreboard show it's been today.
It has. We've had DJ. Dom's great. Ty's always in.
Sam Torres and his endless smile.
Yeah, we got that. Yeah. I was kind of hoping.
Should we start calling Sam Mr. Smile? Can we take that away from Francisco Lindor?
Yeah, we can. Sammy's earned that one. I was kind of hoping Sigler would call it.
I know. He might be out there.
Great game. Sigler's out there. He better get in here.
Hey.
I know they can hear us out there. If he is out there, he better get in here because that was a whale of a football game. Alliance and West Branch.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to hear him talk about both quarterbacks because they were both, they're legit, but the running ability of that Alliance quarterback. Wow.
Look at that.
He heard me.
He's not here. He's back home, but he's joining us.
What's up, fellas?
Dickey.
What's up, fellas?
How are you, man?
My first question, because
were you already calling or was it me begging?
No, I just sat down and you said I wish Dickey would call, and I was like, all right, I'm in. I just literally walked in the door like 2 minutes ago.
He threw us a bone.
There you go. I appreciate it. First off, you had a whale of a game, 90 points.
Yeah.
Those both those quarterbacks did not disappoint tonight.
No, they did. And really the thing that I was looking forward to see how West Branch's defense would play. The last 3 weeks they haven't a lot of point. And they came out on fire and was able to contain Zerbrugge, the quarterback for Alliance, early, and then handed the ball to their offense, and Alizos just took over. The guy's unbelievable, and he's got quite the cast around him. That is for sure.
He's got a really good touch on his passes. Like it's just so sweet coming over that defender's stretched hands, and it seems like it always connects.
There's no doubt. I mean, he had 4 incomplete passes in the first half, over 200 yards, and 2 touchdown passes to Gavin Gregory, who's not even on the radar amongst their top receivers. So they're getting contributions from other guys and not just their main 3 wide receivers, which is crazy scary for everybody else.
Yeah, and just eventually, though, that defense of theirs has to slow down some teams. They can outscore, but they're going to get into a night where that offense could struggle a little, because here's the thing and DJ said this earlier, Chris, nobody has played in inclement weather yet.
Right. Well, and to your point, they play on grass.
Defense travels.
And they play on grass at West Branch, which you don't see a lot anymore. So that's another aspect of their team. And I think their defense deserves a lot of credit. Like I said, they've pitched 3 shutouts in a row the last 3 weeks. And this week really was the first time they've been tested. And a lot of people anticipated them being tested by the athleticism of Alliance. And that was really on display. Alliance had a receiver that's 6'3", 200 pounds, and he really put on a show in the second half. And they had a hard time with him.
In person. We all know it's Oklahoma commit, and he's had a lot of hype because of it. Does it live up to that kind of level of football where we're thinking, okay, he's going to the Big 12 and he lives up to that?
If I'm being brutally honest, I wasn't really overly impressed there that he would be this D1 commit. I've seen other quarterbacks that can do what he was doing on the ground tonight and through the air. And I'm being honest, and Aaron Moser and I were talking via text because he was watching the game too, and the receiver helped him out a lot in the second half. I mean, this kid was just going up getting balls, and they couldn't stop him, and he really helped his quarterback out a lot. Now, this Verberg kid is a winner, and you can tell he's a winner, and he can play at the D1 level. I'm not really too sure.
Yeah, I love honesty.
Something
You got
must.
to.
Something. I mean, Oklahoma must have liked something about him. So we'll see.
It's
As
that
he continues
size.
his career, it's the
Yeah.
size, the athleticism, probably too.
Yeah, without a doubt. The kid's really strong. I mean, the stiff arms he was laying tonight was in another league. But, real quick, I want to give credit to Alizos. He had over 400 yards. He had over 400 yards passing and 5 total touchdowns. He seems to be doing it every single week. And they had a school record set. Jeremiah Thomas, 94-yard receiving touchdown in the second half. Very impressive. So I got to give those kids a lot of credit.
Another record. I feel like West Branch breaks an offensive record every week.
That seemed like.
And I tell you what, guys, and then we haven't talked about it a lot, but the region that West Branch is in D4, Region 13, is brutal. I mean, it is loaded.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I mean,
you're
they're
talking about it.
Unofficially, they're fourth right now.
They're fourth, but you're talking about a team like Girard, I'm going to tell you, is down at 12. And I don't know too many people that would want to really play a team like that out of the gate.
No, absolutely not. Because that is not going to be a fun game, because Girard probably should have kicked it a field goal, forced overtime, rolled the dice tonight. I mean, gutsy call. It just didn't work for him tonight.
And it'll be interesting to see, guys, is like I said, West Branch playing on the natural turf and being able to host the first 2 games. Where does weather come into play? Like you said, Mike, like you look forward to here at the end of the season and the first couple rounds of the playoffs, because a lot of people have turf now. And people aren't used to practicing on it either, let alone playing on it.
I think it's one of the great advantages they have right now. They should always keep it that way.
Interesting matchup for West Branch next week is Carrollton is coming there next week. 5 wins. Carrollton beat Alliance last week, and I was talking to the radio guys that was covering that game last week, and it's Jim Salimos, Lisbon's own Jim Salimos, the head coach of Carrollton, and possession ball control offense the Warriors have. And he said Alliance, every time they had the ball, they would go down and score. But the problem was Carrollton would hold the ball for 7, 8, 9 minutes, and they would go down and score. So I'm going to be interested to see how that matches up with West Branch next week. That's an interesting matchup.
West Branch just has to be a bend but don't break offense, because if they give up all that points, all those yards, all that time, but then Carrollton doesn't score, it's a double-edged sword,
Well, it is, but you want to talk about if you think all our coaches are great, Jim Salimas is already tearing down film of West Branch. He is putting together a game plan. There will be no sleeping in the Salimas house tonight.
No, not at all.
You watch it as much as you want, but if you don't have the personnel to stop it, then
no, don't be surprised. I mean, he's pretty. I've always teased him. I'd say you're straight vanilla. There's not a lot of trick plays out of you, but when he needs one, he's always made it work.
And they've obviously proven they can match up against athletes, because they took down Alliance last week. So that's you can toss that argument out the window.
Absolutely. And I know Salem has had a rough season, but Carrollton played a real nice game against them tonight. Ball, like you said, ball control, took advantage of it. They put Salem in a lot of bad situations, and they kind of dominated that game. The score's not indicative of it, but I watched a decent amount of that one tonight.
Yeah, the only thing that I would say, though, is looking.
Well, hey, man,
at the scores that they've given up points on defense. So that's in West Branch's favor.
Yeah, it is. But still, I mean, you got 5 wins and you're heading, they still they're fighting for their playoff lives. They're fighting to, make a statement here. They're going to need that game next week because that would be big.
Absolutely.
And my next week.
There you have it. See, it's always not easy, is it, Sig?
It is not. It is not, guys.
Mike Schweinhardt. Mike Schweinhardt is like our own personal research crew.
He's like an encyclopedia book.
Hey, thanks for stopping by today, and we know you're working hard, and we'll see you again next week.
All right, guys. Take care.
All right. Thanks, Siggy. All right, Ant. We're going to run down the scores one more time. Get out of here. We got to clear away because our guys are just about to hit the air. 21.
30th anniversary of the OT report. All right, you got the scoreboard up. Let's run through it.
All right, here. We go. We'll go over to the last column as always. Start her up with the East falls to Southers 34-8. Canfield, a winner over Holy Name 42-9. Geneva all over Lakeside. Springfield 13 better than Mineral Ridge. Ursuline 20 points better than Villa Angela St. Joe's. In a shootout, West Branch beats the Lions 49-41. Liberty 20 points better than LeBray. And Beaver Local goes on the road and wins 48-6. All right, so now we move up to the other 3 columns. It is Brookfield, 48-8 over Camel. Crestview, 37-10 over Champion. East Palestine falls to Columbiana, 43-20. Conneaut, 3 points better than Edgewood. Garrettsville Garfield, 42-14 over Newton Falls. Hoban, a winner over Glenville, 28-16. Cheney, 46-15 over Hallam. Lakeview doubles up Hubbard. Lowville, 35-14 over Jackson Milton. Latonia falling to Lisbon, 50-23. Madison, no problem with Jefferson, 44-7. Girard, 35, but not enough as they fall to Poland, 38-35. Carrollton, 14 better than Salem. Wellsville United will play at 11 a.m. tomorrow because the lights weren't all functioning down at Wellsville tonight. So 11 a.m. kickoff. You can catch that game right here on YSN, along with 3 other games tomorrow.
Yep.
And then we have McDonald over Wyndham, 40-6. Mooney loses a heartbreaker to Harding, 24-21. Cardinal, 42-6 over Grand Valley. Western Reserve, 61-8 over beats Orange, 47-13. South Range, 29 straight conference wins, 49-14 over Niles. Pie Valley with the shutout over Matthews. Dover beats Boardman 48-21. And we just got to add in that Mohawk. Oh, that'll wrap up the scoreboard. A couple from PA. Farrell all over Sharpsville in a District 10 showdown, 62-6. Hickory beat Grove City 29-15. And my alma mater falls to Sharon tonight, 45-7. Slippery Rock gets pounded by the Tigers.
They slipped.
Oh, and I do got to mention one score. Sebring beats Stryker tonight. That's 8-man football. Final there, 44-24. So great night. Week 8 in the books, except for 4 games tomorrow. 2 more weeks, and then it is playoff time. Can't wait, man. Favorite time of the year. So
Week 9 coming at you next week. Audible call at 7. I'm Joe Dickey Electric Scoreboard show after. We'll see you next week for week 9.